if you take the number 72 and you divide it by your IRR, you get the amount of years until the investment that you make doubles. Fortune Builders, they're an educational platform about real estate, and you get educated on it. They teach you about passive investing. And then when it makes sense that you want to be in a growth market and invest in rental properties from a passive side, they send you over to JWB. So for me, since all of my education has been JWB, this was my time to basically interact with the rest of other investors that aren't really familiar with JWB, are doing other asset classes. And I learned something this time around. This rule of 72, it was a real big eye opener for me when they broke this thing down in the opening session. Basically, the rule of 72 states that if you take your IRR, if you take the number 72 and you divide it by your IRR, you get the amount of years until the investment that you make doubles. And as soon as they opened up my mind to that, as soon as they showed me that, I immediately went to the 3 properties that I have purchased in the last year and a half. I did the math, and I've essentially put about like $130,000 into 3 properties as the down payment. And as I started doing the math on the rule of 72, with a very conservative estimate of a 12% IRR, my eyes started getting really big. The first calculation I did was that by 2028, I'm going to have 300K in equity. Then by 2032, I'm going to have 600K in equity. Then by 2040, I'm going to have 1.2 million. Then by 2046, I'm going to have 2.4 million. And then by 2052, I'm going to have 4.4 million. That's when I'm 72 years old. I immediately called my wife. As somebody that's been in the rat race as an average investor the majority of my life, the idea that I would get to a point where I was feeling like I was going to have a $4.4 million nest egg by the time that I was retired was very foreign to me. But now I'm really understanding this idea of like, it's always easy to say you want to wait to buy real estate, but it's better to buy real estate and wait. This idea that once I push those chips in, I don't know if by the time I'm 72, $4.4 million is what $4.4 million is today, but I know that I definitely need that much to retire. So it feels really, really good to have those chips in place. If you don't know the rule of 72, I wanted to share it with everybody. Take the number 72, divide it by the IRR of what your investment is, and that is how many years it's going to take for your capital to double. At 12% IRR, it's 6 years. So that's the math that I did, and then it doubles every single time. And as we all know, it's that compounding interest thing where the hockey stick goes up, because after a couple of times of doubling, once you get into the later years, that doubling is a huge, huge number. And I thought it was incredible.